Good morning. I'd like to take a few minutes this morning to share some thoughts on stewardship and tithing and what it has meant to me in my own personal faith walk. As a means of illustration, I have 10 apples with me today that I'm using as a representation of my monthly income. When I was younger, I admittedly did not give much consideration to how God wanted me to use my income. I'd go about paying my monthly bills, and I'd maybe take 30%, about 3 apples, to go towards my rent and later my mortgage. 2 apples might go towards my insurance, my home, my car, my health insurance. 2 would go towards gas and utilities, phone, cable, internet. And a 10th apple would be left to address the various incidentals that I had. Maybe I'd possibly put a little bit away for a rainy day, for car maintenance or new tires on the car, maybe save for a special vacation or a special super sale over at Macy's, or maybe just to go out with my friends and have a little spending money. I'm ashamed to say that under this scenario, my Sunday morning giving actually came from this incidental category. It wasn't much, it wasn't regular, and in fact, if I didn't attend Sunday or church on a given Sunday, then I didn't put anything in the offering plate. As I grew in my relationship with God, I came to better understand the concept of tithing and God's command and expectation as defined in the book of Leviticus that we are to give 1/10 of our harvest back to Him as a holy sacrifice. Well, it certainly didn't happen overnight, and indeed there are times when I'm still working at it, but I began trying to do a better job at leaving enough at the end of the week that I would be able to give much better and more consistent offering when the plate passed me Sunday morning. Growing further in my faith walk, I have come to even better understand what God expects from me. First, He wants me to be obedient. He wants me to follow His command and offer 1/10 of my income back to Him as a holy sacrifice. Second, He wants me to be faithful. Not only does He want me to tithe 10% of my income, He wants me to offer my first fruits rather than waiting to see what is left over at the end of the week. That even in the face of fearing that I won't have enough money to cover my obligations, that He will provide for me and that I need to trust in Him that He'll do that. I'm still working on this. When I consider all of my charitable giving, I do feel better about being obedient to God. I try to make a nice donation to the hospital every year, and I give directly to Bethesda Mission throughout the year. And I also give to several reputable Christian charities that are focused on helping the impoverished. Not all of my giving makes its way into the offering plate, but a large percentage of it does, because I know that I can rely on Chambers Hill to treat my offering as holy and to be responsible in using my offering to bring glory and honor to God and to do God's work. I realize that some would say that God doesn't need my tithe to heal the sick, and He doesn't need my 10% to feed the hungry or to shelter the homeless, and He doesn't need my offering to bring one more lost soul to Christ. He's all-powerful. He can do all of that without any help from me. But what He does need from me is to be obedient to His law, and to be faithful and know that He will provide for my needs. We are all called to be God's servants and to reflect Christ's love to one another. As a result, what God wants for me is to enjoy the feeling that comes from being generous in love to my fellow man. He wants me to experience the real joy that comes from being obedient and being faithful and being generous to Him. And He wants me to be filled with joy in my giving and to have that joy regardless of my own personal circumstance. I want to be obedient. I want to be faithful, and I want to be as generous as I can be with my time and my talent and my treasure and with my love of Christ. I have faith that God will continue to provide for me, and I pray that He continues to bless our church here on the hill. Thank you.